Welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Dad Jokes.
Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Morning Dad Jokes. I am Tom.
And I am Mike.
Glad you could join us again, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So it's your turn for a pre-digested, like the mug there, by the way.
It is. It is.
Oh, and you get the shirt that goes with the mug.
This is a complicated shirt, actually.
Is it? I don't know what that means.
Lasagna Del Rey,
Help me out.
like Lana Del Rey,
Oh,
but
wow.
it's Lasagna
Del Rey.
Del Rey. Pretty sure.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know. I would guess she's a Garfield fan.
So where did you acquire such shirt?
Where did I acquire such a shirt?
Yeah.
I think I might have got it off of Redbubble. This is not a promotion for Redbubble, by the way.
I don't even know.
But it was like one of those print on demand.
Okay.
type
I don't even know what
shirts.
Redbubble is, so you're not really promoting.
Just a print on demand T-shirt, like T Public, and
Yeah.
I guess it used to be
Teespring or whatever. Yeah.
back in the day, right?
Yeah.
When that Woot, did they do shirts?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Ready?
know. Cool.
So yeah, I tried. I'm glad you actually noticed my costume.
Ensemble. All right. Well, why don't you start us off with your pre-digested and maybe set that up.
Okay, so this is a pre-digested clip because I had mentioned in a previous episode, and this isn't to bore people with my passion of silent cinema, but I mentioned that sometimes in silent films, people typically think that the intertitle is explaining to you what's happening on screen, and that's really a gross misunderstanding of how silent cinema works, and it suggests that silent cinema viewers were idiots. They weren't. They were watching what was happening on screen, and good intertitles in films typically function and stand on their own. So this is a clip from a film called The Red Mill, which was released in 1927, and it stars Marion Davies and was directed by Fatty Arbuckle under the pseudonym of William Goodrich, because Arbuckle had his career was essentially over at this point. He had been involved in a scandal. You can read about that on your own. But anyway, so this is Marion Davies in The Red Mill from 1927, and it's about a 2-minute clip, just warning the audience, and the joke comes at about the midpoint in the intertitle. But there's a joke there.
The 1 minute clip or 1 minute point.
The 1 minute point. But I just wanted to play the whole thing because you can also see then how the comedy has really nothing to do with the joke is completely separate. Like there's what's happening on screen, but the intertitle is not, it's not telling you what's happening.
Got it. All right. I will attempt to play said video clip. All right.
There you go.
They should have sent a book of
Destructions.
destructions.
So I guess I didn't also explain that. Did you notice that it was Sears and Roebuck?
Oh yeah, product placement early
So
on.
it's, well, and also mail order thing, right? But yeah, so the joke is they should have sent, instead of instructions,
Destruction.
a book of destructions. I don't know if it's a great joke, but it was, I thought, pretty funny and relevant. I put together. I thought when I got older, I thought making it would mean that I never had to put together any furniture again.
Oh,
Like that I wouldn't be saddled with
IKEA.
with IKEA in my life, because that's so frustrating.
Has
but-
that been the case? Have you arrived yet, or are you still putting
I
stuff
have
together?
not
Yeah,
arrived.
yeah. I was gonna
I'm
say,
still putting together
yeah. Same here.
furniture. I still have that $20 bookshelf. At least one of those. They're like the $30, $20. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
I hate those things.
yeah. It hasn't been that many years since I put one together, and that's only because we just haven't had a need for furniture. But the last thing I purchased, I had to put together.
So, anyway,
Yeah.
rating.
I guess I'd give it a 3.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think it's fair.
it got an eye roll. Yeah, I mean, clearly at that time, I mean, most cinema, most writing that was done by males, so it was definitely more than likely written by a dad at that point.
You know,
You're gonna prove me wrong.
interestingly, well, this is interesting. So the film is written by Francis Marion.
Okay.
The titles are written by Joseph Farnham.
Okay. Do we know who that is?
Yeah, he was a playwright, film editor in the silent movie era. So somebody wrote the scenario, but then somebody else wrote the inner titles throughout the film. And most in the film, all the inner titles kind of function like that. In this particular film, it's a better example of one where the jokes or what you're watching doesn't necessarily follow. So they're all kind of punny. In the film, she plays a drudge, which is, I think, what is a drudge? But they do a play on words with drudge, like her life is a drudgery, and she works as a drudge.
Like a maid?
Yeah, it might be drudge. Well, a person made to do hard menial work, like household drudge. So there's some plays on those. It's constantly sort of punning with language. And two, it's interesting because you have to write in a very condensed way. So you don't have there's only so many words that these inner titles typically show.
Yeah.
It's like 10 or so words.
It's like the early version of Twitter. Yeah.
It is kind of, yes, it is kind of like its own meme. But, yeah, I give it a 3.
I mean, it's safe for all audiences, I think.
It is. It's safe for kiddos.
Yeah. I think my son would get it.
Yeah.
If he can't read it, but if I told him what it said, he would laugh. So, yeah.
I promise next clip I bring, it'll be something more modern, like from the 80s.
Well, this is probably is this public domain yet? This particular clip? Or movie?
That's a good question. It is probably
It's close.
It is put out by Warner Brothers Archive, where the film is released. So Warner owns it. I don't know if they've renewed the copyright, but a lot of these films are in the public domain. However, that score that you're hearing, I think, is probably a new score.
Gotcha.
So there's probably some issues with, like, It depends. There are examples of silent films with synced scores, but I don't know much about this one.
Okay.
Sounds new to me.
Well, if the audience can't see the clip, it's because we received a takedown notice and had to take it out of the.
DRM. I don't think Warner's
I'm
coming
joking,
after this. I mean, the people at WB. Maybe we're like Batman spoilers.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I'm just...
Dance.
Okay. Well, I liked it. It was a good another multimedia up in our game.
Up in our game. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do here.
Now I got to figure out and get something for next week. Now it's okay. We'll keep it up. So I'll switch over and do my dad joke.
Okay.
I struggled a little bit this week. We'll see if it shows. Not really going to even set this one up. So what do you call a tiny fart that's brought on by drinking too much expired vodka?
Well, already. I mean, if fart is in the setup,
I know,
I
right?
think it's immediately a 3. Like even if it tanks
Yeah.
at this point, just because it's like. So what do you call a tiny fart brought on by drinking
Too much expired vodka.
too much expired because vodka expires?
That's right. Depends on the type of vodka.
What would you call that? Not sure.
A Putin.
There you go.
I tried to get something that was current events.
That is current events. I think
Yep.
you get. Man, I feel.
And something
feel
that
like-
something that could give a little slight.
I mean, I'm impressed. That's a 4 for me.
Well, thank you.
I laughed at it's a Putin.
Right?
I mean, he should be a fart.
Right? Yeah.
I wish he'd expire.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Um,
My wife was like, "Well, that could be controversial and like that could, you could really
What?
that might be a little too political, like the joke." And I'm like, "Political with who? Like Russia?
With who?
Like everybody but Russia is not going to care."
with Tucker Carlson.
Right.
He gonna get mad at us. He's gonna be
Right.
Like,
Right.
there are these two guys.
Yeah, exactly.
dad
I don't
kills.
think anybody's going to be offended. I don't even think Russians would be offended. It's like more like the Russian government or one person, Putin. But other than that,
I'm sure Putin's probably heard it. I mean,
yeah. I hope he has. If he hasn't,
dad jokes on some level are an evolution of like childish, like
right. That's true.
know.
That's very true. Like schoolyard,
you
schoolyard,
guys
yeah,
like-
yeah, schoolyard insults.
Tom dropping the bombs.
Yeah, yeah. It's true.
Rootin' tootin' Putin.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure there's a garbage pail like character out there for him that depicts him doing that. If not, then they need to make it.
If not, you got to find it. I think a Putin. I mean, Putin on the horse shirtless is still one of the
Tootin' Putin.
tootin' Putin, rootin' tootin' Putin. It's brilliant.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You struggled. You struggled. For
I
a
did.
good, for a good joke.
Yeah. And the end result was good.
If this was a He-Man episode, Orko would pop on right now and he'd say, "Sometimes you really have to work to do great work."
Good impression. Even sounds like it. Maybe next week you can wear like a He-Man ensemble. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get out my He-Man shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple. Actually, I have a He-Man shirt with a joke on it.
Jeez.
Maybe I'll wear that.
Yeah. Guess what? I have 0 He-Man shirts. But anyway, that's the difference. I also don't have a lasagna shirt. So.
Never too late to get one.
Mm-hmm. It was, I guess, as we were saying, my joke's safe with all audiences, pretty much. Yeah,
Pretty much. Well,
it'd be celebrated by most.
it might be. I mean, I would say yes. I mean, there will be people. Apparently, we now we live in a world where there are Putin sympathizers, which is
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, I mean,
These people don't matter to me.
these people don't matter. So,
Right.
I would say yes, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
A kid might not get it, but
Yeah.
a kid would at least respond to the bathroom humor of it. So, but
Exactly.
they might not understand the context.
Right. But they might even laugh at just like a Putin, like, oh, I like that. That's a funny
Yeah,
word.
yeah, but they're gonna laugh at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laugh at the
Good point.
that. But yeah, I think
Cool.
pretty good. And maybe not appropriate for you don't probably want your kid telling alcohol jokes.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. You and I grew up in the day where it was legal to promote alcohol in magazines and on TV and stuff like that, and that's changed. So,
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I mean, you don't see it as much, or we tend to.
yeah.
There's that program now, the Euphoria, everybody seems to love, which is deals with drug abuse and
Pretty much everything dysfunctional. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I give it a 4.
Well, thank you.
Bravo.
Well, how about we switch over and have you stick your delivery.
Mine's not as good as yours, but I will do mine. So mine is kind of in keeping with the movie theme. But my wife and I recently went to a wax museum where they had some old Hollywood stars, and there was this one wax style, and like the eyes just kept following me around the room. I'm like, what? It's so weird. And I was like, have you seen this? To my wife, and she's like, oh yeah, that's Fred Astaire.
Oh, I do like it. I feel like the setup was too long.
Okay.
I think if you would have done the setup and had a sharper delivery, it would easily be a 4.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'd probably give it a 3.
3. That's
Like it got an eye roll. Like it's definitely like it's solid.
solid.
But I don't know that I'd get into like the better than solid. So like I'm trying to think how I would make it better though, because like you and I we've critiqued some of mine in the past and made them better.
Well, the one thing you couldn't do when I was originally trying to figure it out, you can't, because he's no longer here. You
Yeah.
can't say I read into a movie star and it was Fred. So there has to be some way that you're seeing this person, and that setup. At least I couldn't figure it like you're watching a movie. And maybe that would be how to do it. I was watching a movie the other day, and this actor kept on looking at me, and I was like, "Who is that?" Oh, it's Fred Astaire.
Yeah.
So if you want it shorter,
I kind of like that. Yeah.
okay.
I like that a little bit better. Yeah. Yep. But I do like it. It's definitely on the cusp of being a 4.
Okay.
So
Well, I think I think yours was better this week.
I think yours is safe for all audiences, though. Kind of like mine. Like I don't know that a lot of kids
Yeah.
would get that.
It's weird. I was thinking about this. He's one of these people. He's like Marilyn Monroe. People probably have never actually seen a Marilyn Monroe movie, but they know who she is.
Right.
And it's like he's one of those people are like, oh, Fred Astaire, and maybe not quite at that level, but I think most people
Yeah.
probably recognize the name. It's like, oh,
Right.
he
Right.
who was he?
Right. Yeah. No, but I liked it. It was witty. So you came up with yours today, or have you had that one in the?
I had that one from last week.
Ooh.
And my wife said I should tell it.
No, she was right.
We just watched the Fred Astaire movie the other night. And it was awful. It was
Really?
yeah. We watched Funny Face,
What year was that?
57, with Audrey Hepburn. But it's just a bad story. It was really dumb.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
He was in a lot of movies though, right? Like I mean, he had.
Oh yeah, no, he had a long career, and probably best known or remembered nowadays. Like people remember him in the movies that he did with Ginger Rogers,
Yeah, I gotcha. Cool.
which were all kind of escapist fluff. I I mean, they really were escapist flaws.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For the time.
Yeah.
Which is,
We have some of that today. Yeah.
Apparently we still have plenty of that.
Right. For good reason. Yeah.
For good reason.
Given current events.
Given Putin.
Yeah. Putin and viruses and everything else.
All the rest. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, on that delightful note, we should probably wrap up. We're at a good timestamp here.
Yeah, 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And 30.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yes. Ring that bell.
Ring that bell. Please leave comments.
Yes. Leave comments if you want us to do one of your jokes or analyze a joke. We're still open to that. We're
Analyze a joke.
We're still waiting for somebody to submit one.
Took us 30 episodes to get the book that you were reading from.
Jesus.
Had a joke in the.
Yeah.
I mean, they should just revoke our show.
It's all right. I think they already have. Our views reflect that.
Yeah.
Have a good week, everybody. We will see you next Saturday.
See ya.